It's the reality NSF. Oh, wow, really? It is the reality NSFW Deep Dive Season 41 with Alex Rubino, Lauren Pratt, and you guys promised special guests. I'm here just for the intro, and I fucked that up. But I have good, close personal friend Bret LaBelle, who you may remember from The Amazing Race, but more importantly, of course, Survivor, Millennials versus Gen X. Bret, how are you?
I'm doing well, Johnny. Thanks, pal. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I peeked behind the curtain. I got to introduce Bret to a winner of The Amazing Race, and
yes. Great
Eric
guy.
Sanchez. How cool was that?
That was really cool. It was really cool to meet him. Great guy, amazing on the race. So it was really cool to meet him, and I wish I could have spent more time, but talking with him. But it was hard to hear.
Nashville happens. So,
yes,
but,
yes.
I don't want to interrupt any longer. Just know that this is my new favorite podcast, but don't tell anyone else. So with that,
yes,
you're in excellent hands. Alex, Lauren, take it away.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you, Johnny. All right. Lauren, how are you doing, first of all?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to analyze this episode. It was another great one. Very, very sad that Johnny lost his fantasy pick in Dr. Death, a.k.a. Voce. So, sorry, Johnny.
That makes one of us who's sorry.
All right, Johnny's gone. Enough about him. Come on, let's talk. What's going on here?
Can I point out one gripe I had with this episode right away? The editing. The editing was just not good, in my opinion. We have about 20 minutes with the three tribes, mainly. Like, we have one segment at Ua, one at Luvu that's like a minute long, a bit at Yasa, immunity, and then half an hour of the whole summit thing. That just took up time. And it's like, I'm looking at my ratings review, I'm like, I literally got nothing in this episode. What can I say that you did good or badly? And it's like, it's only episode 2. Frankly, we should be at least trying to get to know these people instead of the stupid summit again and again and again. But yeah.
Bret, what did you think?
Well, I think Survivor now likes to do this with us, right? It likes to have a summit place or an island or something that takes away from camp life. I've been, and I don't even think I realized it until I watched Australian Survivor and how much camp time we really lose on American Survivor. So I've been kind of I don't know how we do it. There's not a lot on right now. I say just give Survivor a little more time, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours every episode. But I definitely think we need more camp time. We want to get to know these people. I don't hate it as bad. I thought this was a much better episode than the first episode for me. Mm-hmm. I just liked it. I'm starting to get to know people and starting to kind of like people. So I don't know. I thought it was okay.
I should point out the parts of camp life that we did get, I really enjoyed. I just am so disappointed that we got so little of it, and I can barely tell you much about half the people on Luvu or even Ua at this point.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we're really mostly seeing. I mean, it was so early, I can't remember the damn names.
Yeah, like look at it. If we're talking about Luvu real quick, we barely know anything about Erica, like nothing at all, and then we
Heather?
don't really know anything about Heather either.
Heather, we got the clip. We got a little bit of Nasir, which I think was great, but then it's like, all right, Sydney, I know a little about. We got, I think, nothing from Danny this episode. A tiny bit from Dashawn.
Who's Danny? That's
NFL player.
I always find it's so hard early on to remember everyone's names. I mean, obviously we know Xander because he's been on a lot. We know Nasir because he's interesting and from Sri Lanka. So yeah, you're right. I mean, it's kind of like a honeymoon period here, the first couple episodes. So
yeah, we just always know who everyone is because we're just the crazy super fans that, you know, ins and outs of the game and watching and looking behind the scenes at everything.
Yeah.
I'm talking to people who watched the episode an hour ago and they're not able to tell me like people's names or things that happened. There's like, oh, there was like so much of like the whole protector risk the vote thing again. That I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong, unfortunately. But let's just start right at the beginning real quick, because I think the little bit we get from Ua right away is Brad trying to make a pseudo spy shack, and I just thought, oh, he's so bad at the game, but this is so funny that like it's one of our first instances of dodo music on the season, where setting it up Brad talking about how he was spooked by JD the previous night at Tribal, and then he sees JD and Ricard go to get water, knowing that, oh, they're talking strategy. So he tells Shan and Jeannie, hey, I'm going to go catch them, and runs along the beach to catch them and tries to spy on them. And I just thought this was hilarious. Brett, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I don't hate it as much as everyone else. Everyone's like, oh my God, he's a failure and everything. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Yeah, if he doesn't tell everyone, if he doesn't tell Shan and I don't know the other woman. Jeannie. All right, let's write that down so we don't forget it. Jeannie. So if he doesn't tell Shan and Jeannie, everyone would think this was ingenious. Why he decides to tell them. I mean, let's think about this. He raced down the beach and beat them to the spot and then listened to their conversation. If he doesn't tell anyone, it's ingenious. And I challenge anyone to say that it isn't. And if he had done that, if he had just kept his mouth shut, then walked like, oh, I'm going for a swim, runs down the beach, jumps in his little spy, whatever, and it would have been just as good as Tony. The problem is he tells people, and I think that what is going on with this computer? All right, let me leave it alone. I think what's driving me crazy is what ends up driving me crazy on a lot of these seasons is that people have loose lips, and Brad is a perfect example of this. And he should have just shut his mouth, ran and listened, kept that information to himself. Because what good is listening to that conversation secretly when everyone's going to tell them, and they did, that he was listening to them?
I mean, also, I think JD and Ricard said they were going to go get water with each other with Brad in sight. Why doesn't he just say, hey, I'll go with you? Yeah. Even if you want to, like, it's so early. I don't think you're going to get that much from two people who, frankly, weren't even getting along the night before. And that's what I don't see the benefit of running down the beach and telling them, especially when you're going to go say, hey, Shan and Jeannie, I'm going to go run down like an idiot and hope I catch them. But it was funny nonetheless. I enjoyed the entertainment of it.
Yeah, it was a good entertaining moment, but like, here's my issue with it. Before he was leaving, he looks at them and was like, I'm going to go see what they're doing. Just don't even do that. Go take off, tell them you're going to go collect firewood, whatever the heck you're going to do.
Exactly. Lie to them.
Yeah, lie to them, run down the beach, do your thing, listen, gather the information you need, and then don't like go right up to Shan when you get back. I heard everything. I know what happened. And then say nothing there and say, I'll tell you later. They're coming back now. It just wasn't played out right. Yes, it was entertaining, but I think he could have done some things differently where he would have came out looking better, because now Shan is really concerned about what he's going to do in the game, because she saw in the first episode right in front of her face, he throws her name out as a potential person to go home. So you're seeing all of his loose cannon things going down the line again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's silly. And Shan told Ricard, right? I mean, so it's like the whole thing is a moot point. But again, had he had done what we told him to do, it would have been good. So I loved it, but then I hated it. You know? So.
And I think one thing I caught that was in confessional after Shan tells Ricard's like, oh, Shan, my best ally told me this. And I'm wondering how many people on that tribe think that Shan is their best ally? Because Ricard obviously thinks it. I think JD thinks it. I think Jeannie might think it even too.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
again there's a lot of people telling a lot of things here. Yeah. There's a lot of loose lips in this season.
Yeah,
I don't even know who Jeannie's aligned with. Like, we haven't gotten a confessional from her where I'm knowing, yeah, I'm with this group of people or I'm not with that group of people. Yep. She's just not getting enough screen time where I know anything where she stands.
My notes on Jeannie literally say, got nothing. I literally have nothing.
This is the problem with 3 tribes, though, always, right? That you never get enough of one or the other, so.
For sure.
Yeah, but you're right.
I'm thinking, because we're not getting much from her, that maybe she's going to go decently far, because we would be at least getting something. She's not going home next episode. There's no way she would be if we're reading into the edit at all.
Right.
I mean, think of it though. We didn't get that much from Abraham, and he went home first. We got a little bit, but I mean, we got like next to nothing. I mean, yeah, sure. If Jeannie goes next week, I'm surprised, but I don't know. I think that's what the editing wants us to think as well. Is all right, Jeannie hasn't gotten much, so she's going far, and she might, but it's also possible she gets taken out at some point. Yeah, going over to Luvu really quickly because they didn't have much. It was just Dashawn trying to make fire, Nasir doing it. I love Nasir's line saying that is Nasir. And I like the little backstory they gave about him growing up. I think that's maybe Survivor's way of trying to say, hey, we're introducing you to everybody, even though they're only doing it for a couple people. Like, we're giving you backstory. Look at that. And I think it's great that Nasir is getting this, and all the people who've gotten the flashbacks in the first episode got them. Like, it's so great to see them. But I'm wondering how it relates to camp life. Like, or is it showing? Because we get that, and then we get Sydney all of a sudden realizing, oh, Nasir is essential to camp, to our camp life, which to me almost feels like there had to have been something in between that made her flip on Nasir, not just the whole helping us survive element. Bret, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, when you played, how much was like helping around at camp like an asset? I feel like it's more so just a detriment nowadays if you don't do anything. But if you do something and you're the provider, all right, that doesn't buy you much.
Bought Ken 39 days on the island. I mean, it absolutely helps, especially when you have a situation like this where they're not given anything, and they needed fire. Nasir provided it. Now, if he can, look at, I too enjoyed that walk into his life in Sri Lanka. I mean, I thought that was fascinating. I'm interested in that. Some other things I feel like, but that was great. I love learning about his life because he's an interesting character, and I think he's going to be a really funny character to watch through this. And even when he gets the banana fruit or whatever, and it's a funny little scene there. So I think we're going to see a lot of that from him, and I think that his abilities on the island are going to help him get fire in the game. And I think as long as he doesn't try to do crazy stuff like he did the first day when he's like, oh, they're going searching for idols and stuff like that. As long as he could just stay neutral with everyone until after the merge and provide for the tribe, he's going to go far. And I also love that, the first 3 days on Survivor are the scariest because nobody knows who you are really, right? We lucked out having a cyclone on our first 3 days, so we really bonded because we were all miserable, and it helped me and David because we had kept a lot of people laughing, and we were all laughing, and it definitely helped me get further in the game just because people saw my personality shine through. So I think the same thing for Nasir, and she actually says, I can't think of her name. Sydney actually, I'll write that down. Sydney actually said that she's like, I wanted Nasir out, but he's really growing on me. Something of that aspect. And it shows you like just getting 3 more days on Survivor, 2 more days. I think they're in day 5 when she said it before. But like, it's huge. It can change everything. Somebody that they wanted out, now they get to know him. They learn a little more about him. Now they're like, I'm not so sure I want him out. So I think, yes, absolutely being a provider can help you huge.
I think it helps for sure in terms of like people liking you. But I think, I don't know, now I haven't heard much recent, like in the last like couple seasons of people saying when they're looking at who to vote at, oh, this person provides for the tribe, they're helpful. I've heard they're good in challenges. Like that's obviously still a thing. They're social. I like them, whatever it is. I'm not hearing like going way back to like season 1, for example, was, oh, how did Richard Hatch survive? He caught fish for every. That was so big. And I think it's important nowadays. It seems like it's important just in terms of people liking you on the island. But I am seeing less and less of it being just the sole reason to keep somebody. And I think hopefully there'll probably be something in this year's social game that I think we're not seeing yet. And I think not to interrupt you, Alex, but I think just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not. No,
happening.
I'm for sure, and that's what I'm.
Yeah,
making the point of we didn't see it. And I wish we did see it of how Nasir was able to like grow on Sydney to get more in the good graces of like Dashawn, and I imagine Danny as well, because I really wanted to see him like play the game, and I think he is. We're just not seeing much of it.
I want to make a point though about Nasir here, because if we're talking about this is a different season that we have,
for sure.
And if their Flint is getting taken away, if they lose a challenge, and he's someone that can make fire without Flint, that is a huge asset to have around on your tribe. So I do think that because it is a different season this time around, he is going to be beneficial to those people, because if they're cold, they want to fire, he's someone that they might want to keep around because of that. You can get rid of him later.
For sure.
Providing out there when you have nothing is huge.
Yes, and I think the fact that they literally have nothing this season could almost bring that back in a sense. I think that we haven't had maybe in the last like couple years. But going over to Yasa, the tribe that we saw pretty much the entire episode, those 5 people. Let's stock down on the beware advantage for a minute. So it's the advantage that Jeff hid in the first episode. Tiffany literally looked all around it and somehow missed it in the premiere. And then Xander finds it early in this episode. It's the rules I have it, at least. It's a 3-way shared immunity idol, and you have it, but until you get it, you lose your vote until the merge. I love that they have to say these ridiculous phrases. Xander has to say that I truly believe that butterflies are dead relatives saying hi, which I just wanted to keep saying it, even if it makes no sense. That the other ones are I'm as confused as a goat on AstroTurf. And the last one is I didn't realize this till now. Broccoli is just a bunch of small trees. So I think they're trying to go for that like funny element, that like how bad do you want to risk it element. But first, Lauren, what do you think of this advantage?
So first of all, if I'm Xander, I am not opening that because I already have something else. I'm putting it right back into the tree. I think that it was too early on to take something, especially because he already has something. But like, Bret, what do you think about that?
Well, I think that this is Survivor, right? And anytime you have as much as you can get, I don't think he expected it to hurt, to be something like that, right? Nobody expects to open up. You think you're getting an advantage in the game or immunity challenge. Now, we have had a lot of advantages. However, I mean, you find something like that, it's exciting when you're out there. And I think he thought whatever it was, he could work it in his favor. But putting it back, I get what you're saying. I just don't know. Maybe now going forward, because we're seeing how much of a pain in the neck this thing is and how much it's really hurting him. And I mean, put a target on his back, really. I'm shocked. He didn't see that. And Xander's another example of people that can't keep their mouth shut.
Oh my gosh, no.
Oh my gosh. I think it's interesting because all he said was the event. It says beware advantage, like there's a risk involved. And I'm going back and forth on this because, like, obviously, if he knew all the information, or at least something of you're losing your vote until the merge unless you figure this out with the other 2 tribes, he's an idiot for taking, complete idiot. Not having all that information, I can maybe give him a little bit of a pass, but I also think, I don't know how, like, I always like when the players know what game they're playing, because I'd rather get the shock value, like the item being used or in an interesting way, rather than like they just, oh my God, he has this thing, like he can't vote, and it's like the, oh my God, and then it's like, you move on. I'm not the biggest fan of all that. I'd rather he know a little bit about what it is before he opens it, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I somewhat like the advantage. I like the risk it holds. I just kind of wish he knew the risk before he made the decision of like, all right, you can get an idol, but if you don't get it, you lose your vote, or something to that effect.
I know we're not there yet, but obviously Evie talks to Dashawn and explains what it is. If I'm Dashawn, there's no way I'm going back there myself and picking that up. If I'm in his shoes, I'm going and almost not guiding someone else to go pick it up, but getting someone else to maybe go and grab that, and Dashawn knowing all the information.
Yeah, but I think what we have to see is now that everyone knows about it. I mean, the whole thing with Xander is why would he if you find something like that, keep it to yourself, folks. Why are you telling everyone? Plus, it's so complicated that it did put a, like, now and then in the same breath he tells them that he has an extra vote too. It's like, oh my God, you just totally you've told 3 people, or 2 people he thought were in his alliance, but we're only on day 4 or 5. Are they really in your alliance? So you don't know these people well enough to be giving them this information that you have it. Now, if one of them could have easily said, and it would have been an easy vote, and I know that he was kind of on the chopping block, but just get rid of him. He's got an extra vote. He's got this crazy thing he's saying. Just get rid of him. Just take him out. And I don't know why people seem to feel like they have to tell everyone about this. Like, just keep it to yourself. And then in the same respect, you could say Evie too, because Evie walks down the beach and starts telling
Tiffany
Tiffany and
Liana,
and she's telling her, well, he's got this and this is how it plays. Oh, and he has an extra vote. Like, this is all information you need to keep to yourselves, people. Now it's all out there for everyone to know. The whole thing seems sloppy to me on that tribe, and then she tells, which I actually thought was good because she's not giving up any secrets of herself. She explains it, and she tells the doctor, Dashawn, about his thing. But now he has that information. Now, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to go back to his tribe. So everyone's going to know what this is. I mean,
do you think he's going to actually tell his tribe that, though? Like, because I know you're saying, like, everyone's spilling all the information, but maybe he's going to keep a couple things close to his chest.
Nobody else has. I hope he does, but we'll see. And the other thing is, I don't love that challenge. I think or advantage. I think it's silly. I think it's some producer was bored and came up with it because they want to see people say crazy stuff. But I don't. To me, it's like I don't want to listen to this again. I don't want to see it play out again. I think it's stupid. Now, I think if Xander, played it right, he said it once, nobody responded. Now he shuts up, right? Because I don't think. Do you have to say him in order? Does it have to be him that starts it? So he should just lay low and shut up now until someone else throws one out. And then he can throw out his, and then hopefully the third one comes out. So, he's thrown it out there. Whoever finds it next on the other tribe is going to say, wait a minute, I remember that fool saying that. So he has it. And then, I don't think Xander's a fool. I'm just saying.
Yeah. My one question about the whole thing is, say 3 people get it, they say the phrase. Do all of them get, like, their own idol? Or because it was a 3-way shared idol. So it's like an idol they get at the merge. Say they all make it to the merge that they have to share. Like, do you either know how that works?
I understood it, and we could go back and watch it, but I think I rewound it. 3 people get an idol. They each get a.
That's what I thought. Okay.
That's what I understood it as. There's no way they would make it that difficult to get where you're sharing an idol with 3 people. There's no way they would.
You do say no way, but they've made these things already ridiculously convoluted that people. Who aren't us, like, watching and rewatching the episode and, like, listening to hours and hours of podcasts or even talking about it would get. Like, to me, I agree with Brett. It's like these people had a year and a half in quarantine like the rest of us, and they came up with something ridiculous. Like, I think it's fun. I like the idea of
Alex, I should have prefaced and say I love the idea, right?
Yeah.
But make it something like, wow, what a tough day, or looks like, something more. This is crazy talk. Like, if he says this twice, everyone's gonna be like, what is wrong with this? Like, to me, it's stupid. Like,
he has to have something
like more coded, where you might say it at everything, but something that someone would go, oh my god, like, are there sharks in the water? I don't know, something that would make you go, oh wow, he has the other idol, but it doesn't give it away to the rest of the tribe that something's going on.
To his credit, though, he slid it in quite well, though. I have to give him credit for that. He did a great job for being the first one, but you're right. If he says it again, then everyone's going to be like, excuse me?
Yeah, right. You could. Yeah, I think it's something you can say once and be like, oh, all right, Xander's being funny and said something ridiculous that we don't understand, and we move on. But, like, if somebody else says something that's like, why is, like, I don't know, whoever finds it, like, why are they saying this ridiculous thing? Oh, and then why did Xander immediately say his ridiculous thing again? I don't know. It's interesting to think about, like, how this would go if anybody's even going to find it, be like, all right, I'm just going to give up the vote even. Because it's like, obviously you don't want to give up your vote for every trouble. But are you at more of a risk saying this and then people kind of knowing you have an idol?
I think the cat's out of the bag anyway now.
Yeah, it's right?
You get 4 people. If they have a tribe swap, those 4 people are going to go to different places with that information. Everyone's going to know what it is and what. So if they see one person say something, then another person say something, they're going to know the 3 that have the idol. Mm-hmm. So I think the cat's out of the bag. Whatever they were trying to do, I don't think it's going to work. And I think part of the problem is from the wording that they came up with for it.
So it's also crazy to me to think, say they merge at, say they merge at 12. Like, we're going a somewhat late merge. Xander still has to survive. What is it? 3 more votes without voting, and as his tribe now is down to 4, they likely lose again. They're down to 3. At one point, if I'm like Evie, for example, I keep him around as long as I can and say, you know what, we're down to 2. I'll just vote you out, and you can't vote me out.
Yeah, it's really a tough time to be.
But then again, if you have the idol, I'd mess with it.
Yeah, I mean, Tiffany's right. I remember her name. It is also a social game. But when you're acting, I mean, I know we're going to get to this later, but I just feel like they're in a bad spot.
Mhm.
We don't know what's going on with this season of Survivor. They're getting back to the basics. Are we going to have a tribe swap? We don't know. Are people thinking that? Yeah, she even said it. Evie even said it. Well, we might not play again. Yeah, I wouldn't be thinking like that in this season. Now, she could prove me wrong in the next episode, but if not, they're in serious trouble because it doesn't look like Tiffany, I mean, who knows? Maybe she's good at puzzles, but from what we're seeing right now, she's not that good at challenges, and that's fine. That doesn't hurt you after the merge. That almost helps you. So, but she's got to get there.
She has to get there. You're right.
Yeah.
And Evie's saying that next week, we don't know if we'll be together. You're not thinking right because you might not be here next week. You don't know what other things are out there that could save somebody, Yeah.
So. I think in some ways, if Xander telling like Evie and Voce about it, I think in his eyes, it's like, all right, these are my closest allies. I have to tell them because I'm not going to be up more than like maybe wait till after the vote, but I'm not going to be able to vote. How do I like not just immediately get voted out? Because I don't know, like voted out the next round. Because if he doesn't vote this round, they're like, wait, you don't have a vote. How do we get you? We can easily get you out. But I think telling Evie, somebody who's, I don't think any of them realize how dangerous she is, how smart she is, how tactical she is. She's telling everything to everybody. And they're like, all right, yeah, I believe you. I mean, she was gone right after the immunity challenge, and everyone's like, oh, we'll just wait for Evie to come back to talk things. I'm like, Brett, like, if say you were playing and somebody was gone for a little while, you're not waiting for them to get back to talk. You're like going right off the bat saying, hey, one less person here I have to deal with. Let me see if I can maybe get them out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And I think she's being very sloppy with telling people stuff too. Like all that information's coming to her and it's great, but she needs to be a little more careful. Like if you just tell everyone, it's not, it's going to get back to like, obviously she's like, well, Xander's my closest guy, so I don't want to take him out. Xander's not her closest guy anymore. Mm-hmm. She just, I don't know unless she went to him and said, hey, we're getting rid of the doctor. I don't know, but I can't see Xander ever being for getting rid of Voce. So I don't think he's with, like, he in the back of his mind, he's like, okay, I can't really trust her anymore. I'm going to go forward with her because obviously I'm in a tight spot here. But in the back of his mind, I don't think he's her number one anymore in his mind, What do you think, Lauren?
I don't think he was super surprised that Voce went home based on like his reaction at Tribal Council. I think he knew it was coming. So we're not sure if they tipped him off before it happened. But at the same time, I agree with you. I don't think they are actually swapping this season. It doesn't look like it, but I could be wrong. I do think, though, if it comes merge time or something and say Xander's still in the game and Evie's still in the game, Xander could easily just throw Evie under the bus and say Evie spills information left and right. So be careful what you tell Evie.
Yeah. I think that's coming. I think that they're way too friendly on that tribe, but now they've, the voting and, it's going to, the people are going to start to make moves and it's they're in a tight spot. And if they're not swapping, I mean, they should really think twice about, they're going to need Xander.
Yeah.
There's no,
I do want to ask you when we get there about just like, at what point do you stop valuing any attempt at challenge strength and almost admit you're going to lose everyone and just try to put yourself in a good position?
They already did that with this last vote, basically.
Yeah, I'm saying, but like, I don't know. I'm just curious what the point is, but we can get there later. We talked about
also like if your numbers get low, right?
Yeah.
And now you're with another crew, and they seem to be getting along. I mean, there's always cracks, but it's harder to like if there's only two of you. I don't know, man. It's tough. I was in that spot. It's not fun.
It's interesting. But there wasn't much to talk about from the immunity challenge other than Xander saying his little phrase, which I thought was funny. But I think the one thing we can mention is Tiffany sucked in this challenge. She was so bad. She's shimmying across the balance beam and can't get across. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I feel bad. But that was not good. But what I also just didn't like they were trying to give her like the Surremo or like the slow-mo music, the come on Tiffany, the like all this like, Tiffany, you got this. It's like, I'm sorry, she's no Suri. Suri earned like the moment with the balance beam because she like nearly won 2 seasons and was like playing damn good in her 4th time. Like it's her 4th time. Like, you can give Suri that respect and that like honor in a way. Tiffany, I like didn't earn it. It was just like, oh, I feel like they were just trying to make something out of nothing. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I don't think, I don't think they were making it like a Suri. I mean, I agree with you. It's not a Suri moment. I don't think they were trying to make it a Suri moment. I thought she came off looking pretty bad, and I kind of, yeah.
She still looked bad. I think even Suri looked bad in that moment of you really stunk at this. But I think it was trying to like, I guess be like, ooh, storybook moment. Look how hard she fought. And
yeah, I don't think it came off like that, Alex. But that was me watching. I was like, wow, this is really bad. And it's like you really don't want to be bad at this time. At least look like you're trying. And to me, on that balance beam, she didn't look like she was trying. It kind of seemed like, and I know maybe she was, and it was really hard for her, but man, that's a tough spot to be in on day 5, right?
Perception is reality.
Yeah, man. People don't like that, and people are all worried about themselves at this point. And I don't know. And yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. I think that her paranoia on the, and I don't want to jump ahead here, but her paranoia in the camp too. To me, I would put a bullseye on the fact that not only was she bad at the challenge, but now she's all paranoid. She's not listening to people. I mean, people were telling her, no, he can't, we're all set. And she just wasn't buying it. And that can be very dangerous out there. Mm-hmm. When people overthink things and they get paranoid, it can be very bad for your game.
Reminds me of Julie Rosenberg with the whole I'm going to jump ship moment of like, no, Julie, we've got this. And I understand coming from the place of paranoia, especially after the challenge, Tiffany having that target on her back. I get it, but there's got to be a better way to like express it with people. And I think whatever she did ended up working because she got what she wanted with Voce going out. Because I get her concern of maybe Xander lied to you about the idol. She doesn't know him. She's known like the rest of them. You've known him for 5 days. He could be like blowing smoke up your ass, and the minute he said that phrase, he just happens to have an idol. She didn't see the note. Yeah, Evie saw the note. Evie actually saw the note, but from where she's going, I get the paranoia, or maybe he just found the idol anyway.
And Evie's from Somerville, so you can't trust anyone from Somerville. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
No, I think with the season we have a lot of wild cards on it, and Tiffany is one of them. But we also have to factor in, we don't really know how much time that they had when Evie came back before Tribal Council, because I was listening to Voce's exit, and he was basically expressing there was not that much time at all. Mm-hmm. And so I think when Tiffany was pressing her concern about Voce, that there was just not enough time to have a concrete plan, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, I guess we're just voting this way, so we're all together on the plan. So that's the other thing that we have to factor in as well. If they do indeed have to keep going to the summit, if they lose and you're someone that actually needs to talk to people, Evie was in a great position, so didn't really need to worry as much. But someone that could be on the bottom or has to fight for their spot could be completely screwed if they get stuck at the summit.
For sure. And I mean, I'm just not a fan of them gonna try doing this every week. If we're just, why don't we just call the season like Island of the Summit again or whatever? Like, I'm getting sick of this. Every episode, we have to cut like even 5 minutes out of 42 minutes is a really large percentage of the episode to all right, send 2 people, figure out who to send there. Them being hi, nice to meet you, going up the mountain. Maybe they say something that's useful, maybe they don't. Oh, am I going to protect or risk my vote? I don't know. Maybe them coming back to camp. That whole thing, it's so ridiculous to me that we're doing it every week. The first episode, cool. Now I'm sick of it.
And I get that, Alex, right? I've always been I've always hated the islands and all that stuff. And this is kind of the same idea. But, maybe it has something to, and I always give Survivor too much credit because it ends up nothing. But maybe it's like something's going to come later where these two meeting, all these people meeting and having conversations helps them later in the game. Like maybe there's some crazy twist coming up. I don't know. But I will give Evie credit for, she gives, don't say it, Dashawn.
Yes.
She gives Dashawn some info that's not going to hurt her, which I got to say, I did like that. Like, I like that she said, she looks like she's giving him all this information, but she's not giving him anything that will hurt her. That was good on her. She also helped him with telling him what these idols are and what to look for, and don't take it. That was actually really good advice to give.
That I like.
Yeah. And so I think that, but then I'm sick of the ship thing and the lose your vote, raise your vote, whatever, and that's out. They all know that. That's why they're talking about it up there. Okay, we have to make a decision here. And she's like, listen, I have to protect my vote tonight, so you use yours, and then you'll get something. So she took care of him twice on that trip.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. But now they all know what it is. So why would they all take? Because if I remember correctly, if both people take
risk
your vote, they both lose. Well,
Yeah.
who the hell's going to do that now? Why would you ever do that now that everyone knows about it? So it's all seems stupid to me.
Yeah.
Am I misreading something
No,
here?
I think with two people, it's a lot easier to figure out because all you have to do is take into account one other person that you're having an intimate conversation with.
Right.
What are they going to do? I think you can figure it out with one person. With two people, you have two different variables. Like, all right, are either of them going to protect?
Yeah,
and I think that makes
you
it
should
a little
all
more
know.
interesting.
They've all gone back to camp and talked about it. Hopefully, well, actually, we've seen them talk about it. So why would anyone not say, okay, now we're up at the top. Let's figure out what we're going to do when we go back down.
I think the situation you're going to have in future explaining to people is both people say, I'm going to protect, and then they're gaming each other of, oh, were they telling the truth? Were they lying? Should I risk?
Okay.
I think that's a little interesting, but it's also just like, I don't know. It's at some point, it's going to be tough for us to figure out who has an extra vote, who doesn't have a vote. Like, we're going to get like annoyed with, all right, who has a vote now? How can I figure out who I want to go home? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And like, we're doing math, and like, listen, I enjoy math, and I know most people don't, but I don't want to be doing math watching Survivor.
No,
Yeah, I don't like it. I think that's there's gonna be too many things out on the table, and then you're right, you're gonna have to figure out who exactly has what. I think the summit would have been great, just not every single episode. But I do agree with you, Brett, in the sense of we are seeing connections from other people that might meet up later on. And it's really important because you only get a certain amount of time to bond with them. And any little connection you can make in the game can be beneficial to you later on down the road. I just think they showed us too much of it. I don't need to see them walking the long path the entire time. Show me what they are at the top. That's all I need to see, them sitting up there having that little convo. And that's it.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's also stuff with the more they're trying to pack into these episodes. It's like, oh, we're gonna make these segments even longer, so we've even less at Camp Life because people don't like Camp Life. So many survivors. That's what got us into the show in the first place. Is watching people on these tribes living together, getting along with each other, making plots with each other. That's what we want to see. And I wish the show realized that to an extent.
I wouldn't dislike it as much if there was just two tribes. If there's just two tribes and then they have the summit and all that, I think it's great. But with three tribes, we just miss so much character development from one, and that's the one that keeps on winning challenges.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Be careful what you wish for, Lauren, is all I'd have to say about that.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. But getting back to Yasa before they're going to tribal council, the whole thing of everybody's like, oh, well, let's wait for Evie. My goodness, Evie must have a spell on these people. So good on her. She comes back. She doesn't have to tell them anything that's not true because, like, well, there's no reason to. Good on her. They all believe her in a second. And then she gets with the women right away of like, all right, let's get rid of Xander. They're like, okay, cool. And then she's like, also goes to the guys and they're all like, yeah, sure, whatever you want, Evie. Just like believing her. And my only concern is about her relationship with Xander at this point.
Yeah.
Because I think the women, they're tight. They are in good shape. And I think the only person I could see something interesting with Tiffany maybe trying to jump ship the next episode, saying, hey, Evie and Liana are too tight. Let me try to get with Xander. But then again, it's like, I want to get with him, but he doesn't have a vote, so he's almost useless to me. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's such a wild card that we're seeing, from what we're seeing, right? Okay, she could be the most, I don't know, but some people just don't do well out here, and they get very paranoid and nervous, and it's like they get sucked up in the game. So from what we're seeing, to me, she's a wild card. I'd be very nervous working with her because she might be running off to tell other people, you know?
Yeah.
Brett, how hard is it to work with a paranoid player out in the game? Because I just feel as though it would be very stressful because you just don't know what they're going to do and what they're going to say and if they're going to blow anything up.
Yeah, you have to. You learn to be very candid with what you tell them, and you have to do that in a way that they think you're telling them everything because you don't want them coming after you. So it's a lot. It's a mind thing in your head, you know.
Who was the most paranoid person you dealt with?
Well, David
Millennials
was
versus
definitely
Bret?
paranoid.
Yeah.
But David had so many good, you know. Like, how do I put this? David was paranoid, but you could talk some sense into him. But he was way more paranoid at the beginning of the game. He reeled it in a little bit. Hannah got very paranoid towards the end. Ken did and didn't. He would have his days, but he really wasn't playing the game, so he wasn't anything to worry about. So, but yeah, Hannah definitely had her days of paranoia, and I mean, I guess everyone you'd have days where, but you I would be nervous, and I guess you could be, but I'd keep it to myself. You'd have to reel in, and you have to stay calm because if people start to get nervous that you might be nervous and you're going to jump ship, they're going to come after you. So you don't want to be like the little fawn with a broken leg on the ground. You know what I mean? Because they're going to jump on you. So but yeah, we had a lot of paranoia out there. So
yeah. So it's so interesting that we get Tiffany campaigning to both Evie and Liana separately about just please vote Voce, which from our perspective, it's almost the thing last week with UA where Jeannie voted for Ricard because if Sarah plays her shot in the dark equivalent, which is equivalent to having an idol, she might go home with no votes, with only Sarah's vote to get rid of her. Or
if Sarah would have played that, Sarah wouldn't have had a vote.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Brad, I think it was. But yeah, just that wild card element of it, and I think that's what's scaring Tiffany so much. And I get it, and she knows that I'm getting a vote again. But it's almost the thing to me of all right, is she going to be the perpetual, I guess scapegoat, the perpetual pawn, and at what point is she going to almost campaign herself out of the game? I think.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. Go ahead.
At what point would you just get so fed up with somebody being so paranoid? They're like, no, I just have to get rid of them instead.
Well, I think it's got to be a conciseness, right? But I think it's when you have so when we had it was early on in the game, and we had you kind of notice what everyone else is noticing, right? So somebody acting up. I don't want to start throwing names out because I really like these people I was on the island with, but
no,
you see somebody kind of acting up and acting a little, and you kind of go, "Are you watching what's going on here?" So you kind of want, and somebody like that, you kind of need to have everyone kind of see it, and then you can kind of plant the seed. That's going to be tough to deal with if we merge. That as this goes on, she's going to drive me crazy, or he's going to drive me crazy. As I can't deal with it. So you kind of plant the seed, and then have someone else kind of reaffirm it, and then you talk to somebody, and that's kind of how it becomes like a snowball. And then you kind of go, well, this is kind of an easy vote, and it's not me, and you know what I mean. That kind of stuff starts to happen. So, and I think you'll see that. I think she's on day 4, 5, 6 now. And you're acting like she's got a lot of things looking like pretty good to me to vote out next.
Yeah.
Listen, this is what we need though. We really need this. Tiffany and Brad. I need that alliance. That's exactly what we need. They're the perfect pairing for each other.
I mean, and as a observer of the game now, I'm with you 100%. I love Brad. I think he's hilarious. He does everything wrong. Again, did he really do anything wrong? It was great. He beat them. I don't know how old he is, but he beat them down the beach.
He's 50.
He's 50 years old.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. He beats them down there, listens, and comes back. But his main thing is, what the hell did you tell anyone for? What good is it if people know that you did it? You know, it's
Yeah.
it's just so bad.
Oh,
No,
my
him
God.
in the I just have to go back to it. Him in the bushes shutting his eyes and just like the entire way he told the story. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, if you
Oh.
close your eyes, they're not gonna see you. Like what?
Oh God, nothing here but us trees. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that was funny. And the two of them together, if that actually happens,
Oh, my.
Lauren, that would be hysterical.
I think we might get a swap. Maybe we get a swap. I wouldn't mind a swap, even if they go to like small. Jeff has been saying they'll keep small tribes the whole season, so
Yeah,
we'll see. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that would be gold putting them together, and put them with JD, who Aaron in the first episode was really really paranoid. It would be so much fun.
well, it's not going to be fun watching Yasa just kind of implode and everyone get voted out. So I hope something's coming. You know, I really do, because I don't want to. There's some really good characters on there, and I'd really like to see them, you know, go on. But if Xander doesn't shut his mouth, he's not long for this game. I mean, this is crazy. This kid's just giving up all of his information.
What I want Tiffany and or Brad to find an idol. Give them something. Then they are really insane, and that would be so much fun to me. But you guys ready to talk about Tribal Council?
Sure.
All right,
Do
yeah.
it.
So we start with like Jeff breaking the fourth wall, but now he has no voice, so it sounds even better.
Well, he has no voice because he keeps talking to the fourth wall. You know, he keeps talking to the
Exactly.
TV audience. Jeff, if you stop talking, waste your time talking to the TV audience, you'd have a voice and we could hear you. I don't know. That was funny though. I picked right up on that.
I noticed like there have been a couple seasons around this point, early in the season, like the second or third vote, he loses his voice, and I'm like, why are you losing your voice now? I understand on like day 35, day 36, losing your voice when you're talking all season, screaming at the top of your lungs. Like,
no, because he's doing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a
He's
cough
the
drop.
producer. He's the casting guy. He's the you know, so he's running meetings all day long. Like, let someone else do a job. You know what I'm saying? Like on Amazing Race, Phil never loses his voice. No, Phil's voice is impeccable the whole time. Jeff, if you lost your voice, you're no good to us as the host. We need you to lose, you know, give somebody else a job, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
It's completely ridiculous. That's why he's losing his voice, because he's in meetings all day long. He's running everything. He's got his hands in everything, and that's it.
Brett, what job do you want to take from Jeff?
Well, I don't want to go. I can't go to Fiji for that long every time. But I don't want any of Jeff's jobs. I just think if Jeff doesn't stop talking, his voice isn't going to be good for the show.
Yeah.
And what good is a Jeff Probst with no voice? It doesn't help us. Bring the guy from Australia. Let him do it.
His dimples and Botox will only get him so far.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, he's looking. Wow.
Yeah, I gotta say though, him breaking the fourth wall, them coming into Tribal Council, I strongly disliked that. I was okay at the beginning, like last episode and everything, but I don't need to see this every single time because it just did not.
You're kind of Lauren.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm very disappointed about that.
I think part of it is they're just trying so hard to get kids interested.
Is that what it is?
I think that's a lot of it. Jeff keeps talking about kids, the Revis puzzle, the game within the game.
Casting 16-year-olds. If they want to cast 16-year-olds, just cast me because I'm sure I could like fit the age look, maybe.
Yeah. And at this point, every time we have a reunion, let me see what the 10-year-old thinks about the episode. Like I don't get it.
I don't either. He's lost his mind. This is what happens when people have too much. He's involved in every aspect of the show, and I don't think we're going to see it this season. But you are going to see I think you're going to see. I don't think whatever you watch it for. I think you're going to lose it, and you're going to move on. I really am concerned that the integrity of the game and all that stuff. I think it's important because I think people that watch it have been watching. I've been watching it since second season. Like people that have been watching forever, I'm just going, come on, dude, what's going on here? What is going on with the show? I feel like he's trying to play up to Big Brother. Like I don't know, maybe he's going after Big Brother people. I don't know, but people that watch Survivor don't. Some watch Big Brother, some don't. I know I don't. I've tried to get into it. I have a lot of friends that played.
I've tried to get you into it.
And what's that?
I said I've even tried to get you into it.
Yeah, and I try, and I'm not there, so I don't think it's the same demographic. I think in some instances it is. I think like Alex likes it, and he likes Survivor. But my first love is Survivor. I do like the race now as well. I I really want to get into Big Brother. I just can't. I think it's just two different kinds of people watching it. Maybe I don't know, but
I think Jeff at like some point just wants like this insane game with like all these mechanics, and I think it's like part of it's he's bored. Like, ooh, this would be fun. Like I'm like a little kid playing a video game of let me change all the settings and like, ooh, isn't this funny? And it's like, yeah, it's funny, but at what point do we lose the original magic that made the show? The fourth wall's whatever.
I'm just over the fourth wall. But
I'm
like,
over it too.
What I will say is I do like how the game has evolved. New twists, new advantages, because it does keep it fresh, especially for people that have been watching since day one. But I do think adding these other extra elements is just not great because I get it. If their whole pitch is to get kids more involved, get them watching, I just feel kind of weird. Someone like talking to me on the television screen, like they're coming into tribal council. They're either going to do this or that. I don't need that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Weird. It's weird, but let's get into like them actually having tribal council. What little they did. So they talk about like the challenge, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Survivor's humbled me. It's humbled me. I imagine it humbled you, Bret, when you're out there." We don't get much from there. But he does. What was interesting, Jeff asking Voce about how he knew that 1 and 6 was 16.667 repeating. Yeah, I mean, I found that interesting. Like, why he's asking that out of the blue? Of like, yeah, I'm concerned about that thing from last week. How did you know math?
It's like it's math. He's a doctor. Like, I'm sorry, I would expect him to know that. Like to me, that's the thing. It's like, wow, did you just do that in your head? Like, what do you think? The guy's a moron. He just got his medical degree out of a bubblegum machine. I didn't understand that either. I thought that sounded so foolish. But this is Jeff we're talking about, and every season he has these kinds of things. You know?
Yeah, but it's not like he like knew the answer to what's 97 out of 4,350. It was 1 out of 6. Yes, he is a doctor. He took a lot of math classes. I'm not in med school. I know they have to do a lot of math. I think.
I think a pilot takes a lot of math too. I mean, I think there's a lot of occupations out there that do math. I don't know what that was. It was very silly.
Yeah, I don't know. But I like the little bit of what you're talking about is like growing up with a single mom, instilling like the drive and work ethic in him, and that he wasn't always smart. It's like, oh, okay, you weren't always smart. That's sweet, but it's like, I mean, what is he supposed to say? Yeah, Jeff, I've always been a genius.
I mean, there are some people that would actually say that.
Yeah, there are a couple, but it's like, I mean, he's good on Voce for not being a complete bozo in that moment. It's scraping the barrel. I mean, we don't get much else from him. We get Tiffany with like trying to say, oh yeah, focus on alliances over the challenge performance, which that's something I like want to stock down on when we get like to the whole vote of it. Because I agree with her actually. I mean, obviously coming from her perspective, it's great and like good idea pitching it, but I think for the rest of them, at this point, pretty much unless your name is Xander, that should be your argument for these three of them. You know what? We're not going to win at this point almost anyway because we have one tribe with an NFL player and Ua.
Well, I like that. I like that guy.
Yeah, even though he played for the Cowboys, I still like Danny.
I just think he's. I mean, we're not seeing a lot from him. But I think he's got a good personality. I think he's going to kind of you want to be careful with him after the merge because you know he's going to be extremely athletic.
I agree with you. I think that's interesting. But then Xander gives the typical Jeff Probst line of drop the 4, keep the 1, which I imagine Jeff was just like drooling in his seat, like, oh my god, somebody said my stupid little phrase. Oh my god. Then we get to the vote. 3 Voce, 1 Tiffany. Xander can't vote. I like Voce as his torture stuff. He just says fail. I called that. That was funny.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too. Yeah.
And one little like thing that I noticed on the urn. So like the first thing, the urn is a lunchbox, but it doesn't open the way like there's a latch there, but it's useless. I'm like, that would have been cool to see like Jeff like open the lunchbox, like pull the what's it. But the other thing, it says caution, dangerous contents on it. And I'm just like, does every little thing have to have the word danger in it? Like every single minute of the show, danger, danger, danger. Like, what did Jeff Probst do for a year and a half sitting in his house? Did he just watch like Jaws 900 times and Jurassic Park be like, ooh, danger. I want danger.
It's a great movie, by the way, Jaws.
I agree with it. I agree it is, but like,
no, I don't know. Listen, Jeff's off his rocker. You know what I mean? I mean, that's
all right. Thank you. Thankfully, someone's agreeing with me.
But I mean, that could be the set. I mean, it might not be Jeff. It could be the set guys. Who knows? But
I thought you said Jeff did everything. Isn't he part of the set guy?
Yeah, I guess you're right. He would have a say in everything. But it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, I bet I'm almost certain that's a Jeff thing of what, like someone's like, maybe we should make the voting booth like a lunchbox. Oh, put dangerous on it, please. Someone put dangerous on it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I guess they're also they've been in. I think that it doesn't help that they've been in Fiji the whole time, and I get it that it saves them a ton of money. But I mean, everywhere they used to go would give them inspiration on the sets, right? I mean, if they were in Cambodia, they could follow different things for that. Yeah. If they were in Panama, they would there was different cultural things there that they could put together. So I think it's just like every season in Fiji they might be kind of just
right. I mean, the most beautiful set I have to say was Thailand's, and that season sucked, point blank period. But they had a great tribal council look.
Right. Yeah. No, they did absolutely 100%.
Yeah. But I do want to like stock down on like the whole decision making of the whole thing. Because if you're on a if you're on a tribe that is just almost at this point going to get decimated, like you almost know we are not good. Maybe they didn't make the tribes fairly. I mean, you put like I said, you have like Danny, who's like a tank on there on Luvu with like Nasir, who's no slouch. Sydney's pretty damn strong, and then you go to Uwa, and really all five of them carry their own weight and then some. Like Shan can swim and is really good at the puzzles. Brad is old, but he can, as we saw, he's 50, but he can run. Running is
he's in good shape.
JD's in pretty damn good shape. Ricard's no slouch by any stretch. Like it almost feels like maybe they designed the tribes badly in terms of challenge strength. Like, but if I'm one of the four remaining, I'm almost at a point of what are we doing keeping people who are going to help us win challenges when that hasn't worked so far. Like I would almost rather be in the position personally of not doing everything I can to prepare to make sure I don't lose instead of saying, all right, I don't want to lose. I obviously don't want to lose, but I also don't know what the challenge is going to be tomorrow. It could be anything. We might be able to stumble and win it. Maybe it's like a spelling competition. The other two tribes don't know how to spell. I don't know. Something like that. And saying, all right, how can I put myself in a good enough position where I'm not going home even if we lose? And at this point, if this tribe gets completely decimated, I'm going nowhere. Because then I think at that point, when you're a tribe of one or two, look at Philippines, for example. You have Denise and Malcolm. When those tribes get to such small numbers, you're almost like not a target at that point. When you go over there, you're used as an asset of, hey, you're the only one here that we have. Like, oh, I only need one more vote to like help me win over the other side. Let me use you. Whereas if say like they're down to 3 or 4 going into like a swap or a merge, it's like, oh, let's just pick them off because they're of no use to us.
My only argument I would make in this instance is this. If it is staying on these separate tribes with each other and it gets dwindled down to 2 people, who are the 2 people? You have to factor that in because you might not be one of those 2 people that survives and gets to advance in the game. So you really have to look at, you might lose a couple people, but you have to still win challenges because if you get decimated, then guess what? You're not going to last in the game either.
Yeah. That's where it gets scary. And you just don't know. And now with, advantages and stuff like that in the game, you just want to try and keep the hot potato off you. That's all. But Alex, you are correct in the fact that, we don't know what's going to happen. They could go over to a tribe where they fit in perfectly and they go, but that's if we have I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be interesting. They say they're going old school, so that makes me nervous.
They say they're going old school, and then we already have like 2 people with like extra votes, lost vote, this stupid twist, that stupid twist. Like, we're going old school in what universe, Jeff? Besides the fact that you can just say, "Oh, it's a new era" because we had a year and a half off. Other than that, there's nothing.
Chris Hammonds has been saying for a while, and I kind of agree with him that they should do like an absolute, just like the first season they kind of gave them a lot, but just like absolutely no advantages, like old school Survivor, go out and play. Here's 2 tribes.
Yeah, I'd be fine with the idols. Like we can go like in like the 10s and 20s of like we have the idol, fine, because I think the threat of an idol was so interesting. But other than that, you don't need it. These players that you've got are gamers. They're going to play hard. Look at Ko Wrong. There wasn't an idol played the whole season, but the threat of an idol even just messed with people so much, and it created such intrigue in the game. And I think we have that. We don't need all these stupid little trinkets almost.
Well, I've been saying that.
Yeah,
but if you had a season that didn't have idols or advantages, the castaways wouldn't know. There's still going to be the paranoia out there. If this person has it, like what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like they're going to have to factor all that in when they do go to vote. So I think that would bring a huge curveball if they do indeed add that in a future season. But here's the thing. You cannot do it back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
You have to kind of mix it up if you choose to do something like that.
Yeah, that would be like a one-off twist. But like looking at it from the perspective of people on Yasa, say you're heavy in this situation. You're good with nearly everybody. Where are you going from here? Because, yeah, Liana likes you a lot. Tiffany likes you a lot. Xander likes you a lot. Voce likes you a lot. Do you go with challenge strength and hope you don't lose? Or do you say...
I don't think Voce likes her a lot anymore.
Well, obviously not now. But, like, when you have to make that decision, all right, do I just try to get rid of Xander because he has, like, all these things and he's of no use to me because he can't vote anywhere? Do I, like, do I just try to, like, placate Tiffany? I don't know. Like, what do you value if you're Evie, who's seemingly in a good position with everybody, and even if they keep losing, is likely not going anywhere until they're down to like 2 or 1?
Look at what Evie said, though. All the guys, if you go to the end with them, seem to get the credit and get the votes at the end. And so that's why I think she tipped in the direction of the girls.
Yeah, but I agree with you there. But then at what point do you say... how do you think she decided which one? Is it just, I'm just going to placate Tiffany at this point, not try to fight with her?
See, I don't think that's entirely true. And I get what she's saying, right? Because there have been people, but like, I think that if you can explain your game, I think, and she's a very smart person. I think that, if she did things and she can explain it, I don't think that's nobody's gonna think Xander did it. I'm right now already frustrated with Xander's play, Yeah.
So
I think it really depends on who it is, right?
For sure.
I don't know. That's me. I think there's plenty of times I've seen where I'm like, no, that didn't happen. Whatever,
Yeah.
So I guess she's probably worried about that, and that's she's concerned about it. So it's gonna guide her gameplay, which is interesting.
I mean, I think we have seen moments of like juries being more harsh towards the women, playing the backstabby type of aggressive game that we see now. I think Sarah Lucina got raked over the coals in Game Changers for a game that I think some of these guys have played in future seasons are like, you know what? That was just good. It was a damn good game. Like, for example, like Tony, Winners at War. Like, everyone's like, yeah, Tony was good. And I think, sure, Sarah's game of Game Changers wasn't to that level of like, oh my God. But she outplayed, I think, everybody in her season.
She won.
Yeah, hook, line, and sinker. And she was still raked over the coals for it. And then you look at like a Dawn Meehan who was like playing the motherly role, but she backstabbed. It's like, oh my God, you backstabbed me. And then Cochran played a really good game that season, but you're also saying, well, Cochran did a lot of the same things you did, but you didn't pretend to be like our mother. I don't know. It's something I get why Evie's considering it.
Yeah. It's also everyone's perception, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when everyone says to me, why didn't Ken win? I'm like, there wasn't a world where Ken was going to win, and people can't understand that. I'm like, it's not about what happens 6 months later when you're sitting in front of the, in all cleaned up in the thing, and now everyone's story. It's when it's day 39, you've just been backstabbed and thrown around by different people, and you're in the moment. That's why he can't win. That's why Hannah couldn't win. That's why Adam won, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like what people don't really understand is, people say things and do things because of things that happened or the way they perceived them.
Yeah, I am curious to know from you, because this is the question I've always wanted to know. If it was between Ken and Hannah, who would you have voted for?
Wait a minute. If there's only 3 people,
if it was a final 2.
They wouldn't have made it to final 2. One of them would not have made it to final 2.
So you're just not going to answer.
I put people on the spot and they can choose.
Well, first of all, it is tough. Like Hannah and I are very close. So, but I don't think she was young too, but I don't think she kind of knew. She played hard. She was all over the place. I don't think she realized like you have to understand the jury, and you have to kind of know what they're thinking, and that definitely helps you to win the game. And some people never get it. So, but I would say if it's me, I would have to go with Hannah, and here's why: because at least she was busting her ass in the game to get further. And sometimes she played both sides and she went this way, that way. But I'd have to go with Hannah, because at least she was out there really wanting to play and having fun and doing her thing. So I would say Hannah. If it was those two, Hannah. All
right. Yeah. So just final words from Voce, saying like he didn't make sure his relationship building was good with everybody. And frankly, if that's like the reason you think he went on a tribe of 5, like, I don't know, you got to step it up there. But I guess part of it must have been Evie just playing him. Just Evie did a damn good job with that. Are we ready to rate these people?
Oh boy.
Let's get into it. Even though there's some people, like, we didn't see much of this entire episode.
That's why it's hard to rate them. And I hate rating them, because it's like, I know how hard this game is when you're out there and like all the people judge you, and it's like, and I hope, I got to say right now, some people are hitting me up on Twitter right now. So, but I will say, if you're listening to this and you're playing this season right now, you're a fool. You're an absolute fool to be playing right now. To be listening right now to this, because none of us really know you, and we don't know what's going on. So.
We're not.
Right, that's
saying,
my.
We're not saying anything about the people. I bet they're like.
It's all about like the gameplay and what we saw in the episode. Yeah. Like we don't say anything about the people in general.
Look at us making predictions going forward on currently what we've seen. We've seen 2.5 hours of television. We're trying to predict how the next 21 days of the game are going to go.
Yeah, we're mostly just predicting like who we think could be in trouble going into the next episode, who's at the top, like going into the next episode. It's all episode based on what we see.
We're having fun with this at the end of the day. We're just having fun here with this. But let's start with Danny.
That's my boy Danny McCray, who did what Chris Hammonds couldn't, made it to the NFL. Love this guy.
I was wondering when the dig at Chris was going to come in, because I knew it had to happen at some point.
Yeah, Danny did it. Danny worked hard and made it to the NFL, and Chris is a scumbag attorney in Oklahoma City. So, listen, they're both huge competitors, and but I like Danny, and I think he's going to do really well. What do you guys think?
I mean, I gave him a 7 because that's the score I had from last week, and I literally got nothing here. I think he's in a pretty good position. He's got a good social game. He's obviously strong as hell.
Game,
yeah. So
I mean, you're right. We're not getting a lot from him, but in the first episode, he did seem friendly and
So I'm sticking with a 7.
What about go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go for it. What are you going to give him?
I'm up there with him. I think he's going to do really well. So I'm going to give him a 9.
A 9.
Okay.
I didn't even give anybody an 9. I don't think anybody's in that good a position. Whereas all right. I like Brett.
I'm telling you, people are going to like this guy. He's got an easygoing way about him. I like him.
I could see him, like, listen, if I'm thinking of who can win the game, he's in that pool of people who could win, but he's not at the top of my list yet.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, if they find out he's an NFL, if anyone figures that out, he's screwed. Because he's got to have some money,
I love his lie of, I just coach football.
Yeah,
because he did get asked that going to the summit in the first episode. Yeah. They said that people thought that he was an NFL player. So, he kind of covered it up. We'll see if down the line something comes up about it. But what I will say with Danny, I really enjoy Danny as well. I'm going to give Danny a 7. We just didn't see anything from this episode. But I do think that's a good sign going into the next one. I don't think he's going to be the person going home. So solid 7 for Danny.
Yeah.
Now, let me say this. When I first saw Chris Hammonds, I thought he was a NFL player, because look at the size of him. He was wearing a nice watch. He had a nice jacket on. And I was like, this guy's an NFL player. And then he, of course, told us he was a football coach. So I was sure that someday I was going to find out that he actually was on the NFL, and he wasn't. So he could play it off, because I would say by day 6 or 7, I didn't even care. I was aligned with Chris. He was a good guy. We laughed, and I didn't, I was going to work with him no matter what. So, anyway, go on.
All right.
Next.
Next up is Dashawn. So, Brett, let's start with you about Dashawn. What do you think of him?
I like Dashawn. He's an interesting guy. He's got a story. He's a medical student. Yeah, I don't know though. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to do. I feel like he's getting a pretty good edit, but I feel like he could be an easy takeout because he's not. I mean, he is in kind of good shape though. I don't know. I'm thinking more of like a 5 or a 6. Let's give him a 6.
All right. 6.
Yeah, I was also going to go with a 6 because Dashawn is going to have to come back from the summit and do some explaining. So we're going to see how he explains what happened. Because if you look at what Danny did, Danny came back, protected his vote and everything. And what he said was truthful. So Dashawn is going to have to maneuver a little bit on his end because he did indeed risk his vote.
Yeah.
And I'm not buying that he's not that smart. Like, I'm sick of these people trying to downplay. Like, you're a medical student.
Oh, he's smart.
Like, I get it that you have to work hard, but you still have to have some smarts to you. They don't just let anyone into medical school. I don't know. I also think, listen, I know human beings, like at the end of the day, when you sit next to a doctor and you're a beekeeper, they're going with the beekeeper because you got a better story. And I don't mean beekeeper. I mean, like let's say you're a janitor. Like the guy's going to make money someday. He's a medical student,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think that's going to hurt him as he gets closer to the end.
Yeah. I had Dashawn at a 6 last week. I bumped him up to a 7 this week, actually.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. He failed at making fire. But I think him going to the summit, I think, helped him. He got a lot of info, and I think he's the player that won't spill the beans on what Evie told him. If he doesn't, I think he's in a really, really good position. Where he's at right now with his current tribe, if he can play off the extra vote, like maybe like Xander did, I'm using it for the tribe, I think that can help him a lot. And I think the connection that he'll have with Evie going forward, if she makes it to a swap or merge, which as of now, I see no way she doesn't. So I think Dashawn's in a pretty good spot. I gave him a 7.
Okay, very good. I gave him a 6.
Yep.
I like him though.
Yep. All right, let's go to another person we literally got nothing from. That is Erica.
Oh, Erica Kaspunen. Kasapanen. How do you say that?
Kasupanen, I think.
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Kasupanen.
I'm gonna guess. I don't know.
From Toronto, which I love Toronto.
Yes.
Canadian myself. I like, but you're right. We don't know anything about Erica.
Yeah.
We barely know how to say her last name.
Lauren, what do you have about Erica?
I just got to give Erica a 5 right in the middle. We haven't seen enough screen time. I don't think she is someone that's in trouble to go home because we have simply got nothing from her. What I will say is great at puzzles because episode 1 came in the clutch there. And then episode 2, I mean, her and Dashawn work flawlessly together on the puzzle section. So if those two if there's always a puzzle and those two are on it, I'm picking them all day, every day.
Yeah, and that's another Dashawn, like there's another thing right there. Like if you're really good at puzzles, you're not somebody who's not smart. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, she is smart. Brett, what do you have for Erica?
Oh, I'm gonna give Erica a good old fashioned 5 because I don't know anything about her.
Right.
I don't want to like take away from her and give her a 4.
Yeah,
she's a communications manager, so I'm sure she's good at talking to people.
Yeah,
so.
That's all right. So we are straight 5s across the board for Erica. All right, next up is Heather, who we also didn't get anything from this episode other than the fact that she sat out of the immunity challenge.
Oh yeah, Heather Aldred.
Yes,
Aldre. How do you say that? 52 years old from Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah. So, and you're right. We met her a little bit on the first episode, but we don't know anything about her.
Yeah, I mean, has she had anything since the moment on the boat with Jeff saying that she watched Survivor from season 1? I'm sorry, was there?
No, I don't think she has actually.
Yeah, I mean,
she did have a secret scene that was great.
Oh yeah, Lauren, why don't you fill us in about it?
So the secret scene, she apparently had a dream that Sydney took her torch, something like that. So then she was saying that, found that kind of interesting. And she went and told the whole tribe about that. And then actually she was lying about it. So that she never had that dream. She was just lying to paint a target on Sydney's back.
Oh,
crazy there.
Oh, I love this. I love this.
Well, we need to see more of it because I don't.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I wanted to see. That would have been fun to see from that tribe. We got the fun moment.
Yeah, but we didn't have time. Jeff had to talk to the fourth wall or whatever. We didn't have time to.
Yeah, you're right.
You know.
There you go. But it would have been fun to see that because I feel like that.
Sorry, Heather.
Her thought process. It shows her thought process, like where in her mind she thinks that she's making a move, getting in people's heads about something that didn't actually happen, and just made it up that it was a dream when in actuality she never had it.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that because that does kind of interest me too. I agree. We need to see more of this crazy woman.
If you're gonna make up something crazy, say it's a dream because then no one's going to doubt you.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. I gotta go watch the scene because you're right. Like we're missing a lot from these people.
Yeah,
this is bad.
It's a shame, but I gave Heather a 4. We have nothing from her, but the fact that she sat out of the immunity challenge to me is like, all right, you're the weakest on the tribe, and if they have if they lose a challenge, it's like I could see her going home at this point, especially with Nasir's position getting better. Who else are they taking out?
I don't know though, because maybe she's entertaining.
Maybe.
I don't know.
We don't know. Lauren, what do you have for Heather?
I'm just going to give her a 5 simply because of her secret scene. I think that she is at least trying to stir the pot and trying to do something, and she's trying to go after Sydney, which is going to be quite interesting to see if that tribe does lose, what's going to happen there.
For sure. Brett, what about you?
I don't know. I kind of like her now because she's, I'm giving her a 5.
All right. Yes. All right. Let's talk about maybe one of my favorite people on this entire cast, and that is my boy Nasir. Brett, you want to start with him?
Yeah, so I was nervous about Nasir the first episode because I was like, why is he doing this? He was playing too hard too early, but I'm starting to really like him now because he's really providing for the tribe. He's calmed down. He's settled down. I think that he might have a little bit of Ken in him with the taking care of everyone, and people are going to like that. So I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah. All right. Nice. Lauren, what about you?
I forget what I gave him last week. I think it was in the 3 or 4 range. So
you gave him a 3. You and I
gave
both
him a
gave
3.
him a 3.
Yeah. All right. So definitely bumping that up to a solid 6. I think after this episode, he looks in a lot better position because you had people talking about in their confessionals, hey, I kind of like him now. I want to keep him around. So I think he benefits by getting that time with his tribe for the couple extra days of not having to go to tribal council where he's able to create relationships with people. So I think we're going to see a lot more from Nasir. I have high hopes for Nasir.
Okay. I have high hopes for Nasir. I love him. I really hope this new positioning is good. My other thing with this tribe is I don't know who would go if they lose, and that's the only reason I only bumped him up to a 4, actually. I give him credit for making fire. I give him credit for others seeing him be useful around the camp and people liking him. But I also think the painting a target on your back early is something that's hard to escape. And if they lose, they're not going to have much to go off of. So I think it might just be, all right, let's do the easy thing. Let's get rid of Nasir. I don't think Danny and Dashawn still love him from the way he exposed them at the beginning. And he exposed them truthfully. So imagine they wouldn't like that. I mean, if Sydney finds out her name's on the chopping block, she might say, you know what? I forgot. I want Nasir out. So it's like, I'm still hesitant with her. And that's why I gave him the same score as Heather. I could see him going, unfortunately. But
well, we just don't know yet, do we?
I hope not, though. I really hope not. Nasir, please stay in the game. But all right, let's go to the last person on this tribe. And that is good old Sydney Siegel.
Sid.
Brooklyn,
New York.
Yes. What do you got for her, Brett?
I don't know. I kind of think she's kind of doing okay. I don't know. What do you think? 6?
That's where I was leaning with her as well, right in the 6 area. I do think Sydney is a huge benefit for them in challenges. She was super strong in that swimming leg, and we are still seeing something from her in confessionals. I do think she's quite entertaining. She gives us a little bit there. I just only worry that maybe if they get close enough to emerge, she could be someone that they would want to cut and take along Heather and Erica.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing with Sydney to me is we didn't get much from her this episode besides the comment about Nasir. And I think out of the people on this tribe, I could see them saying, you know what? She's pretty threatening. Because it's like, Danny and Dashawn are tight. You're not getting rid of Danny for the challenge performance. It's like, all right, who's good at challenges, but we can like get rid of them because they're threatening. And I think that person is Sydney. I mean, I have her at a 5 right now, mostly because I think Heather having even the idea of getting rid of her, and if is not good, and say him and her and Nasir work together, she might not be in the best position. So she's definitely vulnerable. That's why I have her at a 5.
Fair enough.
Yep. All right. Let's move on to the other tribe that won, and that is our boys at Ewa. Let's go to Brad. Let's go to Brad. Brad, start us off with Brad. You've got a lot.
I just like him. I think he's funny. I really wish he kept that quiet, because if he kept that quiet and kept doing that, I think it'd be really good TV. I think he is gonna. I think he's gonna go far, but I don't know. I mean, he's definitely helping out his team. He's getting a pretty good edit. I don't know. I like him. I'm gonna give him. I think his chances are. Although. Yeah,
is he winning the game?
The women could turn on him. I see. I don't see him winning. But I'm gonna say 7.
Oh,
A 7.
wow!
I guess I don't know how this is scoring.
Well, we're just like purely like based on like how their game is right now. Are they like in trouble going home? And, do they have any shot to win?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
don't think he's in trouble going home. I love his I like what he's coming up with. I just think he's doing it all wrong. So, yeah, gameplay. I mean, again, he's got some great ideas. He's just not. He's not doing it the right way. So I guess So if we're doing it that way, I thought you meant like how far we're gonna go in the game.
That's part of it too. I mean, like
I think he's gonna go far. I do. Just from what we're seeing.
Yeah.
At least the merge. I'll give him a 4.
Okay. All right, Lauren. What about
you? Guys don't gasp.
No, but now that your number changed, so I was actually, my initial number was a 4, and only because I think he is making Shan super nervous, because she even points out if he's doing this to them, he could easily do it to me. So how can I trust that? And it's what we talked about earlier in the podcast. How long do you keep that wild card person along? Because they could spill something that could be important to you.
Yeah. I am concerned because he couldn't keep it to himself. Like, I'm always a big thing on people like, why are you telling people this stuff? He easily could have just run down the place and no one would have known he listened to the conversation, and he would have been a better man for it. So, yeah, he's sloppy. Very sloppy.
Lauren, what score do you have for Brad before I
4.
Okay, 4. All right, my turn. I gave Brad a 2. I gave him a 3 last week. He played worse this week. Nothing was good. The spy moment was just a complete disaster. Sure, he didn't even get any like relevant info from the whole conversation. Nobody trusts him at this point. And frankly, look at everybody else in the tribe. They're all in a better position than he is. So if they somehow lose, I mean, I might just see him. He could be gone. Yeah, no. Is he threatening in terms of like, oh, is he going to win? No, which also brings his score down because he's not winning this game for a hole in the wall. There's not. Listen, I love him as a character, and he's giving me entertainment. But there's nothing good in this game right now, and he's at a 2 because he's not surely going home, but he's damn close, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's up with him. I think we're going to be surprised by this guy, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Brett, in case you haven't noticed, Alex provides some hardcore digs at people. I'm more so am just very like, this is my opinion, this is my thought, but I have good and bad things to say.
No, that's good. I mean, I just
we work well together.
We'll see. We're also. I mean, I played the game, and I've been judged too, and I know that you're not seeing everything that's going on. But I'll tell you, you can't get past the fact that he's just. Shut your mouth. Like he shouldn't. Yeah. Listen, that thing, you would think totally differently, Alex. And I know that we've all seen Tony do it. But if he did that and if he was like, hey, I'm going for a swim, ran down, listened, maybe got nothing out of it, but then came back and nobody knew, you would have a totally different opinion.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But you're right. He failed. He failed because he he's like, I'm going to listen. It's like, of course they're going to tell them that.
Yeah.
Not reading the room right at all with
Right.
people he has. What's about another person that I actually really like as well? I think is in a good position. That's good old Jeannie.
Yes, because we don't know anything about her.
Yeah, I mean, we got nothing. I literally wrote again, got nothing for her. She was in a good position in the first episode. I still love her hinky vote on Ricard. I think that shows me she's got some strategic chops in her to think a little bit outside of the box, which is good. She's in the middle, pretty much, I'd say. I'm still sticking with my 7 for Jeannie.
I don't know if I have enough to give Jeannie.
Fair.
I'm giving her a 3. I don't know enough about her. You know.
3.
Yeah. What's she done? I mean, we saw her in the background this time. Did she talk?
I think she spoke like literally a word to Shan.
Yeah,
that was it.
That's why I'm keeping the score I had for last week. If we got nothing for her, that's why. Like same thing with Erica and Danny. Got nothing. I'm not changing.
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping we see more, but
yeah,
I don't see anything.
Watch out for Jeannie. I think she's got a good mind for this game.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm going to give Jeannie a 5, just smack dab in the middle, because I do think that she's in an okay position, because you haven't heard anyone say in a confessional, oh, I'm scared about Jeannie. I'm worried about Jeannie. So her name hasn't really come up at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Let's go to good old JD. Our guy shot out of the cannon in the premiere and definitely played a little bit more laid back here.
Lauren, he played much better on this episode.
Yeah. Lauren, what do you think about JD?
I think JD was much calmer, just, processed the entire thing of tribal council. And I gotta say, I think them going to the first tribal council, no one wants to be the first person voted out of the game. And so I think that's why people got so flustered. And then after you get through that, I know, Bret, you can attest to this. It's probably a little bit easier to just be like, all right, take a deep breath. Now I can actually calm down, go and talk to some people. And I think that's what JD did the next morning with Ricard, just had a casual conversation. So I'm going to go at a 6 for JD.
Bret, what about you?
I'm going to go with a 7. I got to be honest. Like, yeah, he played tough. But JD is the kind of person that I feel has the personality to go very far in this game. I feel like he's really likable. I feel like he engages people. He's entertaining. I mean, you guys have to understand that you're seeing an hour of the show, and these are long days out there. And if you're with people that are fun and energetic and like this, you kind of look forward to hanging out with them. So I think JD is in a really good spot. I was very nervous about him in the first episode, but he definitely seems like he's settled in. He's doing better. And I really like his attitude, and I really like his energy, and I think he's going to do really well,
Right. Yeah. I gave JD a 5. I bumped him up from the 4 last week because I thought he was just overplaying even before his tribe lost. And the reason I bumped him up is that, I think he's overall in a better position. He's got a slightly better relationship with Ricard, but I don't think the two of them like looking at each other, especially Ricard, with all he said about JD, I don't think that goes away instantly. But I also think his relationship with Brad has just gotten much worse. And I think, obviously he wants Brad gone, and Brad's likely a consensus vote. But if Brad's looking to get rid of somebody, I think he's pointing the target at JD, and just flat out, that's not good. Because if Brad somehow finds an idol or anything, JD might be one to go. So that's where I'm at with JD. All right. Let's go to another guy. I love Ricard. Bret, what do you think about Ricard?
I think Ricard could find himself in a tough position, and here's why: because he's kind of seems to be controlling it. He's not really hiding the fact. I don't know. I like him. I'm interested in it. I think that he'll be fine in his tribe. He might have some troubles when he goes to a different tribe.
Okay,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I have Ricard at a 6. Because I still think he's not in a great position with Brad, or Jeannie for the matter. Jeannie voting for him last time. I think he's getting in a better position.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I think he's getting in a better position with JD, but still, you can't just pretend like the first 3 days of the game didn't happen. And I think the fact that he thinks he's Shan's number 1, or I imagine Brad, Jeannie, and JD also think that. at least JD does, I'm almost certain of that, is not great. When your number one probably doesn't think you're the number one back, but I think Ricard has a lot of strategic chops, and I think he can get himself out of a sticky situation if he's put in one. So that's where I'm at with it. That's why I have a 6 for him.
Yeah, I also have him a 6. I feel pretty good about Ricard after this episode. I think he is someone that's going to do pretty well because he's a really good social player based on what we've seen. He's good at talking with other people, listening to them and hearing them out. I just am still concerned about the 1 vote that he received in the previous tribal council. But as we see, you can work your way out of that because you continue to have conversations with people and people's minds change each and every day.
Yeah. Brett,
I'll give him a 5.
A 5. All right. Good to know. All right. Lastly, on this tribe is the mafia pastor herself, good old Shan. I can start with Shan real quick. I have her at a 7. I think she's in a really good position with just about everybody on her tribe. She's being confided in. I think the fact that Ricard's coming to her to give her and Ricard are coming to each other to talk about Brad. I think Ricard really trusts her. I think everybody really trusts her. The fact that Brad was like, hey, Shan, I'm going off to go spy on them. I think she's getting a lot of information. I don't think she's spilling the beans to everybody. So, yeah, I think she's in a good position, even though we didn't get a ton in this episode.
Yeah, I have Shan at an 8, actually. I just think sitting in the best position on this tribe right now because I don't think anyone has anything bad to say about her. She's in good with everyone. People are telling her, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you want that information. And she also is someone that hasn't really spilled enough information to too many other people that could get herself in trouble thus far.
Yeah, I'm actually going to amend my score on Jeannie real quick. I'm moving Jeannie down to a 6 for the sole reason I think Shan's in a slightly better position.
No takebacks. No takebacks.
At least I own it. Brett, what do you have for Shan?
I like Shan. I think you're right. I think she's in a really good spot. So I'm gonna throw a little 7 at her. I was gonna go 6, but I feel like she's kind of got a good way about her. She's from Toronto and she's probably good at talking to these people. So I'm gonna give her a 7.
All right. Yeah, I'm really excited for Shan going forward. My only concern is that the others might realize, oh, Shan's really good at this game. But let's talk about a person who I don't think will have that problem as much, and that is Evie, actually. I just love Evie. Lauren, you want to start with Evie?
Evie's fantastic. I'm just a little concerned that Evie could run into some roadblocks throughout the season. But if we're going into the next episode, I think Evie's still going to be in a good spot. Only person that could be kind of like, what the heck happened is Xander. But those 2 other girls are in lockstep with Evie at the moment. So I'm giving Evie a 7.
Okay. My thing with Evie, I think the fact that she got Xander to vote out Voce, I think is big. Getting him, because I think if you could have easily blindsided him, and it would have been like,
he didn't have a vote, did he?
Yeah, Xander didn't vote.
Oh my gosh, yes. But I think the fact he seemed like he knew about it. I think
you might be right. I don't know.
He seemed like he seemed like he knew about it. Even I forgot he didn't vote. But yeah, even though he didn't have a vote, I feel like he knew it was coming. I was like, oh, I feel so bad. I think he knew, and I think Evie being able to pull these strings, I think Evie is doing such a good job of doing it. I think she's in a great position. I love the vote for her. I think this helps her advance, and even if they keep losing, she's not going. Good move at the summit, not giving away really any of her information. My only concern is, the fact that she's telling people maybe a little too much, and they all might realize, damn, Evie's really good at this game. But she's also one of the people that I could so see winning this game. She can talk to a jury. She's so incredibly smart. And that's why I'm at an 8 for Evie.
I'm sorry. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
So I think she made a lot of mistakes.
Okay.
I think she gave out way too much info, and she's going to continue to do that. Now, she could squeak by, and I do agree that I think at the end she would be very good at talking with people, which would be good. But I don't know if she's going to get there. I'm very concerned for her. Just the amount of information that all that stuff was good to keep to herself and use it. I don't know. Like, everyone having the same information doesn't help her. I'm going to go with a 4.
Oh, whew. All right. Interesting.
But we'll see. She might prove me wrong. We'll see. She is from, so it says on her Twitter that she's from Somerville, but it says here Arlington. But she's, again, PhD student. She's not. We got a lot of doctors in this. I mean, if anyone goes down, they're very safe on this season. I'll tell you that right now.
Anyone goes down.
Yeah.
I think I forget what Evie's studying. It's something.
Oh, she's a PhD doctor.
Yeah, she's doing something with biology. But either way, she's smart.
Well, if they go down and the other two do medically, she could start to figure out what's wrong with them in their heads. You know, she could
Yeah. Lauren, what do you have for Evie?
On the ground?
I already said we're at Evie.
Yeah, I'm saying, is there any more you have?
No, I don't. But I love that all of us have different opinions, which is why this is fun.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I believe in Evie. I don't know. But let's talk about Liana for a second.
Oh, do we know much about Liana? Oh, I'm sorry. Go. You guys started.
No, go.
You're right. Go.
I want to hear what you have
Is
to
she
say.
the one that's crying in the next episode?
Yes.
Yes, I like this. I like this, but I think she's going to realize that she might have aligned herself with the wrong people. So I'm very excited to see what happens here. I like her though. What are her chances? I feel like she's playing right. Man, I don't know. It's tough. What do you guys think? 5.
Okay.
I like Liana. I'm giving Liana a 6. I think that she will survive this tribe if there is no swap. I feel very confident in that answer. I just think sitting in a great position, Tiffany feels super comfortable with Liana. Evie seems super comfortable with Liana. I don't really know the dynamic of Liana and Xander's relationship, but I just think that she's going to survive this entire tribe and make it further in this game.
What makes you cry on day 6, 7?
She said she missed something. That's what we get in the preview. She said she missed.
I think she's on the chopping block in the next one, and I don't know why. But maybe it's just because I don't know. Something's weird's going on. We'll see. I don't know.
I have Evie at I have Liana at a 7 because I think she's Evie's number 1. I think Evie's good, but I really think Evie trusts Liana the most. Liana's killing it in the challenges. The way she was able to get Yasa back in it after Tiffany's whole disaster, she just shows how strong she is in the water. She's really smart as well. And at the end of the day, she got what she wanted in this episode. She said, "I want the women to stick together, and I want Voce and Xander gone." And she got Voce, and I frankly think if another they have to go to travel again, Xander's probably pretty easy to get out next.
She is a great swimmer. That was fun to watch.
Yeah.
She didn't get everything she wanted. She wanted Xander gone and folded and voted out Voce.
That's correct, Lauren.
I still think the fact that she got one of them out is going to help her, and I think she can probably get Xander out next.
Well, we don't know. She's crying in the next one, so
we'll
see. Something's coming.
You're right, but somebody who might be crying for different reasons is good old Tiffany. Lauren, you want to start?
I don't know how to feel about it.
All right, I
think if they lose again and they all decide, you know what, we have to win a challenge, I think Tiffany is toast. Also, if they lose again, they could go the other direction and say, you know what, we're just going to keep losing. We're not winning with Xander anyway. Then I think Xander's out the door. I think the next vote's going to come down between Tiffany and Xander for who goes on this tribe. I
think it's Tiffany. I think they lose, and I think people go, you know what, we can't keep losing like this. I mean, I think it's especially if she gets paranoid again. I think it's I don't know. It's going to be tough for her. She's got a tough thing. I'm giving her a 2.
Oh,
yeah, I have her sitting at a 3.
All right, I'm slightly higher. I have her at a 4. She was bad in the challenge.
Oh, you're from Jersey, that's why.
Don't you know I don't like
New Yorker?
Oh, come on.
Where's Plainview anyway?
I have no idea.
Well, I don't.
She's far out in New York. Whatever. If we had a person from Jersey, you can give me that argument. But
yeah, no, I'm just.
She was good, not good in the challenges. Really over paranoid. But I do think the fact that she got what she wanted at the end of the day says something about that she has a little bit of an agency and influence. And I think her relationship with Liana and Evie is pretty strong. So yeah, I have her at a 4 also because, is she an easy target to send home next? Yes. But who would want to do that most? And that would be Xander. Xander doesn't have a vote. He has no power. So that's where I think Tiffany could squeak by a little bit. That's why I have her at a 4.
Fair enough.
All right. Last but not least is the guy who has everything and has nothing. He has the beware advantage. He has an extra vote. He may have an idol down the line, but for now, he doesn't even have a regular vote. Brett, what do you think about Xander?
I like Xander. I think Xander's getting a hell of an edit, so I think he's going pretty far. So I'm gonna have to give him a. He's not doing everything right though. That's what's getting me nervous. I'm giving him a 7.
All right.
I think he's going to slide through to whatever we have coming, and he'll do
You've
fine.
got faith in him. All right, Lauren, do you have the same faith in Xander?
I just gotta say, I'm enjoying Brett's takes. This is great.
I agree. This is so much fun.
I'm not. I mean, come on. You know.
Yeah, I'm just writing down Brett's scores.
I mean, Nazir could take this whole thing for all we know. You know.
That is true.
That would be so much fun. Yeah. Oh, that would be great. But Lauren, how do you feel about Xander?
I'm giving Xander a 4 because yes, he did so many things wrong, but if they lose again and they come back, want to win a challenge, they got to keep Xander around, and that's why he's a little bit higher than Tiffany for me.
Yeah, the only reason I'm not lower on Xander than a 4 is for the first episode he had. I thought he had a really good premiere. Everybody's was trusting him, and I think that's something that doesn't. Like, they're going to remember that, at least, like, he's somewhat loyal and interesting. And the fact that he told Evie about his advantage right away, I think could play in his... Listen, obviously, I don't think the move was good, but I think to Evie, it could be like, you know what, at least I can trust him and maybe use him going forward. So while he has no vote, he's not a huge threat from that sense. But I think the fact that he could potentially have an idol later down the line increases his threat level. The fact that he went for a risky advantage puts his threat level higher. Yeah, and that's why I have him at a 4.
Fair enough.
All right.
I think you guys are really wrong on this one, but we'll see.
All right. You think I'd love to see it. I'd like to see
Trust
Xander.
the Survivor player. We're definitely wrong.
No, I don't see him. I see him going far. He's getting a lot of airtime. Yeah. Unless they're totally going to pull the wool over our eyes this year, which they haven't yet, so. I
mean, we didn't really expect Voce to go home, and I guess they pulled the wool over our eyes a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I did not expect Voce to go home. Yeah. But we'll see. I just think Xander's in it to win it. Right. So we'll see.
Right. Lauren, do you have anything else to add about this episode, the season as a whole?
I don't. I think we covered it all here tonight. It was an absolute blast. Yeah. Brett, thank you so much for joining us. It's been amazing to get your takes on everything that has happened thus far in the season. Where can people find you on social media?
Don't listen to anything I said tonight, Lauren. I'm half on the rapper, so I could be totally wrong. But they can follow me at Bret LaBelle on Instagram and Twitter. 1T, folks. 1T. And if you want, I also have a podcast, which Johnny will probably kill you because I'm gonna on In the Drunk Tank with Brett and Larry, wherever you can find podcasts, and it's a good one. So we just had one of the Wahlbergs on, so make sure you check that one out. So yeah, that's me. And I had fun. I'm glad you guys asked me to be on so early in the season.
Brett, it's always just so much fun talking to you. I feel like a little kid. You're just so funny. You're fun. Like, you're just so genuine and fun. I had a blast. But I had one more thing. Who's winning this season, Brett? Right now, tell me who's winning the season.
No. Who's winning the season? Well, I tell you, I'm gonna. I think the football player.
Danny.
Yeah, I do. I really have a lot of stock in him. I really do. I think we're not seeing enough of him, but we did see some of them in the first one. We didn't see a lot of his tribe this time, so we'll see. But I have a good feeling for him.
All right, that's really.
Who do you think?
I still am going with Shan. Shan was my preseason winner pick, I think. And yeah, either I want to say Evie. I do want to say Evie. I might say Evie, but that's where they're at right now.
Yeah, you're high on Evie. Should be happy to know that.
Yeah.
I had Dashawn as my winner pick. So different choices all the way across the board.
Right. Nice. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, we're gonna look back on this in like 2.5 months, and I'll just laugh at each other for all the ridiculous things that we said.
I really enjoyed this episode. I know you guys didn't. For some reason, I really liked it.
I liked it.
I liked the episode. I just had a problem with the editing. I still thought it was fun. I like these people a lot. at the end of the day.
they're definitely growing on me, and they're starting to show
I-
that the first episode you never really get what you want out of the people. The
Yes.
second and third you start to kind of really like them. So
Yes.
I'm enjoying it.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, thank you so much
Thank
yet
you,
again, Brett, for joining us. Thanks
for
everyone
having me.
for listening. Be sure to follow us on Reality NSFW for all the content that we go through. Thanks again. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.